Yo, the streets of Chicago are speaking, and this time the secrets are being exposed like never before. Herbo, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss just went OFF in an exclusive sit-down, spilling every jaw-dropping detail about Lil Herb, Juice WRLD, Chief Keef, and the real, raw chaos of the Chicago streets. Fans thought they knew the story, but what's coming out now will shock you. From hidden rivalries to backstage feuds, from street codes broken to shocking betrayals, this conversation is giving us the inside scoop that nobody else dares to talk about. Herbo opens up about the struggles and survival in Chicago's harshest corners, while Fat Joe drops knowledge from decades in the rap game, linking past legends to today's drama. And Jadakiss, he doesn't hold back. Every word hits like a bullet, exposing secrets that have been buried for years. The tension in this room? Electric. The stories? Explosive. And the fans? Already going wild on social media, debating, arguing, and replaying every clip. You'll hear about Lil Herb's rise, Juice WRLD's untold struggles, Chief Keef's hidden controversies, and even moments that could spark new feuds or surprise collaborations. Trust me, this isn't just an interview, it's a street-level documentary of Chicago's hip-hop drama, a masterclass in realness, loyalty, and betrayal. Sit tight, because by the end of this, you'll feel like you were right there in the room, witnessing every shocking revelation firsthand. If you think you know the Chicago streets, think again. This is the story that fans everywhere are already calling legendary. The lights dimmed, the cameras rolled, and the atmosphere was tense. The kind of tension only Chicago street stories can bring. When Herbo, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss sat down together, it was clear this wasn't just another interview. This was a full-scale revelation of the city's hidden chaos, a glimpse into a world most outsiders will never understand. From the rise of Lil Herb to Juice WRLD's battles with fame, and Chief Keef's unspoken controversies, the session promised to expose everything. Herbo opened the conversation, his voice calm but heavy with the weight of experience. He spoke about the struggles of growing up in Chicago, the neighborhoods where survival was a daily challenge, and the unspoken codes that governed every corner. People think they know Chicago, Herbo said, but they don't see what happens when the cameras are off. The streets tell a different story, one of loyalty, betrayal, and survival. Fat Joe leaned in, adding decades of wisdom and insight. He reflected on how the game had changed, connecting the legacy of old-school legends to today's young stars. It's not just about music anymore, he said. It's about influence, power, and how the streets can make or break you overnight. You can rise fast, but if you don't respect the code, you'll fall just as quick. Jadakiss, known for his sharp tongue and unfiltered perspective, brought the heat. He didn't hold back when discussing the controversies surrounding Chief Keef and Lil Herb, pointing out moments that most fans had never seen. Every word seemed calculated, every anecdote exposing hidden tensions and rivalries simmering beneath the surface. His energy set the tone. It wasn't just a discussion. It was a revelation with teeth. The trio delved deep into Juice WRLD's story, shedding light on the pressures that came with fame and how the Chicago environment shaped him. Fans were shocked as they revealed moments of vulnerability and pain, showing a side of Juice WRLD rarely discussed in public. It wasn't all drama for shock value. It was real-life struggle, ambition, and the cost of rising from the streets to stardom. As the conversation progressed, tension built. Herbo shared stories of Lil Herb's rise, highlighting the challenges he faced both in the studio and the streets. The stories were raw, unfiltered, and at times heartbreaking. Lil Herb had to fight for every inch, Herbo said, and the people who should have had his back sometimes turned their faces. That's the reality in Chicago. Loyalty is rare, and betrayal is common. Fat Joe jumped in with insights on the music industry's role in the drama, explaining how record labels, managers, and social media often escalate conflicts that already exist on the streets. He stressed that many so-called beefs are manipulated for attention, yet the real dangers, violence, betrayal, and reputational damage remain tangible and very real. Jadakiss highlighted key incidents involving Chief Keef, Lil Herb, and other Chicago figures that had never been public. Fans were stunned as he revealed untold rivalries, hidden clashes, and behind-the-scenes moves that shaped careers and reputations. Every revelation seemed to uncover a new layer of drama, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats. The energy in the room was electric. Every comment sparked reactions, and the tension between the legends and the stories they exposed was palpable. Fans watching at home couldn't help but engage, flooding social media with reactions, memes, and debates. The streets of Chicago had never felt closer to outsiders. The drama, the loyalty, and the danger all felt immediate as the cameras continued rolling. The conversation shifted from broad experiences to specific, jaw-dropping incidents that shaped the Chicago scene. Herbo, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss were no longer just storytellers. They became guardians of secrets that the world had only glimpsed in whispers. Herbo leaned forward, eyes intense, as he began recounting an incident involving Lil Herb that had been quietly simmering for months. There was tension in the studio, Herbo explained. Things that the public didn't see. Lil Herb was working on a track, and someone close to him tried to steal credit for the lyrics. That could have ruined everything if it got out. The story immediately sent shockwaves online. With fans expressing outrage at the betrayal, Fat Joe chimed in, adding a decades-long perspective. These streets haven't changed. Loyalty is everything, but envy runs deep. I've seen young artists like Lil Herb fight for recognition while people around them tried to sabotage their climb. It's brutal. He paused, letting the weight of the statement sink in. And it's not just about music. It's about respect, credibility, and survival. You can lose all of it in a heartbeat if you're not careful. Then came the discussion about Juice WRLD, and the room grew somber. Herbo and Jadakiss revealed details about the late rapper's struggle with fame, pressures from management, and conflicts with peers that had never reached the public. Juice WRLD was talented beyond belief, Jadakiss said, voice dropping. But he had enemies he didn't even know existed. People in the studio, in the streets, trying to exploit him or take advantage. It's heartbreaking. Fans watching live felt every word hit hard. The trio didn't sugarcoat anything. They described feuds, betrayals, and street-level drama in vivid detail. Herbo recounted a moment when a planned collaboration with another artist almost exploded into a full-blown conflict because of jealousy. It was tense, he said. People were talking, rumors were spreading, and it almost got physical. Jadakiss then shifted focus to Chief Keef, exposing incidents that had stayed off social media. He described hidden rivalries with other Chicago artists, disagreements over street credibility, and moments where violence almost erupted during studio sessions. Chief Keef's journey is legendary, Jadakiss said, but it's also messy. There are people who tried to undermine him, and some of those secrets never meant to leave Chicago. Fat Joe brought a larger perspective, connecting all the stories into a web of street politics, fame, and music industry manipulation. When you're young and hungry in Chicago, he explained, you gotta be smart. The streets and the industry are intertwined. One wrong move can end. Throughout the session, the tension was palpable. Fans online were reacting in real time, creating memes, debate threads, and video clips, analyzing every word. Every story seemed to uncover another layer of drama from secret meetings and late-night confrontations to social media, disputes that had never been publicly addressed. This wasn't just storytelling, it was a masterclass in revealing the hidden dynamics of Chicago's hip-hop world. The public had been given a peek behind the curtain, seeing not just the music but the loyalty, betrayal, pressure, and danger that shaped the artists' lives. The room grew electric as Fat Joe and Jadakiss leaned in, ready to drop the juiciest, most explosive secrets Chicago had ever heard. Fans had been on edge since part 2, but what came next would truly shake the streets and the hip-hop world. Herbo began with a revelation that had insiders whispering for months, a hidden betrayal involving Lil Herb and a close associate. You know, people think the streets are all about loyalty, he said, his voice steady but intense. But trust can disappear in a heartbeat. There was someone in Lil Herb's circle trying to leak his unreleased tracks to another label just to make a quick buck, and it could have ended his career if we didn't step in. Fat Joe chimed in, emphasizing the industry's role in amplifying drama. I've been in this game for decades, he said, and one thing never changes: jealousy and greed. Young artists, no matter how talented, are constantly tested. One wrong move, one trust broken, and the consequences can be devastating. That's exactly what almost happened with Lil Herb. Then Jadakiss took over, delivering the bombshell about Chief Keef that had fans across social media in shock. Chief Keef has always been a polarizing figure, he said, but here's what nobody knows. There were moments when his crew almost came to blows with another Chicago collective over a misheard lyric. If it had gone public, it could have sparked violence and torn the streets apart. Herbo turned somber as he shared details about Juice WRLD's struggles. Juice WRLD was talented, no doubt, he said, but he faced conflicts behind the scenes, from people trying to manipulate him to industry pressure that he didn't sign up for. There were fights over collaborations, issues with trust, and moments where he felt completely alone. Fans watching felt the weight of these revelations. It wasn't just drama for views, it was the harsh reality of survival in Chicago's music scene. Fat Joe highlighted a rare moment of loyalty. He recounted how Lil Herb refused a lucrative deal that would have made him millions but would have betrayed his crew. That's respect, Joe said. The streets notice, and it's the same code Juice WRLD tried to follow. Stay true to your people, even when the world is offering you everything else. Then came the part everyone was waiting for: unexpected feuds and secret clashes that had never made the news. Jadakiss didn't hold back, exposing confrontations between Lil Herb and Chief Keef that had stayed behind closed doors. It wasn't just music, he said. It was pride, reputation, and respect. You can't fake that in Chicago. One small disrespect, one overlooked slight, and it turns into a war, even between friends. Herbo jumped in with a story of a studio clash that nearly turned violent. We were working late one night, he said. Words were exchanged. Temper flared, and for a moment it felt like history might repeat itself with someone getting hurt. That's the kind of tension that exists in Chicago, even when cameras aren't rolling. The trio then touched on Juice WRLD's influence on the next generation. Despite his struggles, his legacy shaped how young artists navigated the streets and the industry. Everyone looked up to him, Jadakiss said. But even with all the fame, he couldn't escape the realities that come from being from Chicago: betrayal, jealousy, and constant pressure. Fat Joe added perspective on how social media fuels conflict. People think beefs start in the studio or on the streets, he explained. Now, one tweet, one post, and it's a full-blown drama that can follow you for years. Some of these issues could have been solved quietly, but the online world amplifies them, and the stakes are higher than ever. Herbo nodded, then dropped another bombshell about Lil Herb's struggles with loyalty and trust. He had to cut off people he grew up with, Herbo said. That's tough. Imagine growing up with someone, trusting them, and then realizing they're willing to stab you in the back just to get a deal or an advantage. That's Chicago reality. Jadakiss brought the heat back with Chief Keef's behind-the-scenes antics, revealing that the rapper's public persona was only part of the story. There's a side to Keef the world doesn't see, he said. Moments where decisions, alliances, and clashes were happening that shaped his career and reputation. And sometimes those moments could have escalated into real danger. The tension in the room was palpable. Fans watching were left reeling from the revelation's hidden feuds, secret betrayals, studio confrontations, and the harsh realities of loyalty and respect in Chicago's streets. Every story, every detail added another layer to the drama, making it clear that Chicago's hip-hop scene is as dangerous and unpredictable as ever, where the most shocking stories, unexpected alliances, and potential new feuds would be revealed. Fans were on the edge of their seats, eager to see how the drama would unfold, and what secrets would finally surface. The room was tense, the stakes higher than ever. Herbo, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss had already dropped bombshell after bombshell, hidden feuds, secret betrayals, and behind-the-scenes confrontations that few could have imagined. But the final act of this Chicago drama was about to go even deeper, revealing truths that would leave fans speechless. Herbo leaned forward, his expression serious. Listen, some of what we've talked about before barely scratches the surface. There are moments, deals, and decisions that shaped not just careers but lives. And if we don't tell the story, nobody else will. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. The streets don't forgive, and they don't forget. What happens here? It echoes forever. Fat Joe added, take Lil Herb for example. He's been climbing, surviving, and making moves, but it hasn't been easy. There were nights when betrayal hit him the hardest. Friends, associates, even some supposed mentors tried to manipulate him, spread rumors, or take credit for his work. It's a harsh reality of Chicago. Jadakiss didn't hold back as he dove into Chief Keef's hidden controversies. Keef's public image only tells half the story. There were alliances that crumbled, fights avoided at the last second, and moments where loyalty was tested beyond belief. People need to know the man you see on stage is only a piece of a much larger puzzle. Herbo revealed something shocking about Juice WRLD's legacy. Even after he's gone, the ripples of what he went through are still affecting artists today. There were conflicts over collaborations, industry manipulation, and moments of distrust that nobody knew about. It's important for the next generation to see the lessons hidden behind the fame. The conversation took a dramatic turn as the trio discussed unexpected alliances and secret reconciliations. Herbo explained how some artists who once clashed violently in the streets had quietly patched things up behind closed doors. It's like chess, he said. Moves are made quietly. Enemies today can be allies tomorrow. But the world never sees that. Fat Joe shared a story about a studio confrontation that nearly erupted into violence between Lil Herb and another top artist. People don't realize how close these moments come to exploding, he said. Sometimes it's just a look, a word, or a rumor that could change everything. Chicago isn't just a city, it's a battlefield. Jadakiss revealed one final explosive detail that sent fans into a frenzy online. There's footage, conversations, moments that haven't seen the light of day, he said. If they did, fans would see rivalries, respect, betrayal, and loyalty all intertwined. And it's bigger than music. It's life, it's survival, it's legacy. The trio concluded with reflections on loyalty, betrayal, and the harsh realities of Chicago. Herbo stressed that talent alone isn't enough. You can have skills, flow, and hits, but if you don't respect the streets will humble you. And that's what keeps the game real. Fat Joe added, Chicago teaches lessons the hard way. Fame, money, and success are temporary if you forget where you came from. That's why these stories matter. They're not just drama. They're history, cautionary tales, and a window into a world most fans will never truly understand. Jadakiss ended on a note that left viewers hanging. The streets are always moving. Alliances shift, conflicts emerge, and legends are born. And believe me, we've only just scratched the surface. More stories will come, and when they do, the streets will be watching. Fans were left shocked, intrigued, and craving more. The layers of Chicago's hip-hop drama had been exposed. Hidden betrayals, secret feuds, loyalty tested, and the untold stories of Lil Herb, Juice WRLD, and Chief Keef. Every revelation, every anecdote, and every moment painted a picture of a city where the music isn't just entertainment. It's survival, legacy, and raw, unfiltered reality. This final part closed the door on one chapter, but hinted at the inevitable continuation of street drama. Rivalries and news stories that would emerge from Chicago's dark streets. Fans were left on edge, ready to witness the next chapter unfold. You've just witnessed the raw, unfiltered truth from Herbo, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss, the secrets, betrayals, and behind-the-scenes chaos of Chicago's hip-hop scene. From Lil Herb's hidden struggles to Juice WRLD's untold pressures and Chief Keef's street-level controversies, every revelation has shaken the streets and left fans reeling. But the story doesn't end here. The streets are alive, the drama is ongoing, and the next chapter could be even more explosive. We want to hear from you. Who shocked you the most? Lil Herb's loyalty tested, Juice WRLD's hidden battles, or Chief Keef's secret clashes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your predictions. And let's discuss the alliances, betrayals, and street politics that define Chicago's hip-hop world. Don't forget to hit that like button if this episode shocked you, and subscribe to stay updated on every new revelation. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next explosive story from the streets. Share this video with your friends, tag someone who needs to see the hidden side of Chicago's hip-hop, and let's keep the conversation going. The streets are speaking, and now it's your turn to react. This is more than music drama, it's real-life lessons, street codes, and celebrity truths that few dare to reveal. Comment, share, and be part of the conversation before our Chicago street drama series drops.